Good morning, I'm Diana, here at the BBC studio. Today's headline news is all about the Meridian Shuttle driverless car in Royal Greenwich. We are all excited about this new way of transport for the future and how it can bring positivity solution to lifestyle and global investment. The great invention is part of the Getaway project and includes the testing of a fully driverless car, which will be evaluated in different scenarios. Phillip and George are now at the Greenwich Peninsula to get a far insight on the cars.
We're here at Ravensbourne, a film and broadcast specialist school next to the O2, to talk with Pierre, who designed the technology of the Meridian Shuttle. What's going to happen if the computing or the electronic systems stop working?
First of all, most of the electronic is doubled. Everything is redundant, even for the sensors. If something breaks in, if a computer stops or any electronic board stops, the vehicle will stop. There are three different braking systems with two electrical different circuits. And for example, if there is no more electricity in the vehicle, then there is an electromagnetic brake that will stop the vehicle.
So it's quite safe. You have like a double safe. If half of the vehicles fails, the other one will work as well. What will this mean for taxi drivers and the public transport?
This is a very good question. There will be some evolution, but first of all, this type of vehicle addresses kind of campuses and is complementary to public transportation system. It means that it does not replace taxis or things like that. It's meant to operate on the last mile mobility, which is a small area. It's not to commute with suburbans or things like that. So it will not change, that kind of vehicle will not change for the taxis. A driverless vehicle will probably change things for a lot of people, but it will also generate more work than it should cancel works.
Would these trials help to develop a driverless car even more?
Well, on this trial we are mostly studying the usage and how passenger we want to use it, on what routes, on what schedules, who will pay for the systems, and also we'll gather a lot of information and data on a real city that will be analyzed to better the robotic systems after.
If the car crashed or had an accident against someone, who will be held responsible?
If there is an accident, there is a lot, it depends where. I mean, if it's in UK, US, Japan or somewhere else. It's not very defined. Today, we are responsible as a manufacturer, responsible for what happens. In the future, users, manufacturers, cities, most probably a lot of people will be responsible for all those things.
When are the vehicles going to be used in other public spaces?
It should start in August now to be used by broad public on the peninsula. And we have quite a lot of trials in the US, also in cities and campuses, and being used by public. That will start by about the same date, September, August.
What will happen if in extreme weather with a lot of rain or snow? Would the car work the same or would it be different?
Well, in this open vehicle, it's not good for the passenger if the weather is very bad, but we will have closed vehicle. As for the sensors, of course there are some limitations, like on big fog, it's quite like a human. It reduces the speed because the distance of perception is lower. But we did test it on snow, on big rain snow in Florida, storms, and it's still efficient. Sometimes we have to reduce the speed.
What will be the effect in the automotive industry if driverless cars go global?
Well, if this type of driverless car, I mean, that's more cars, and that's on the top. But it will remove private cars from inside the city. I don't think the fact that private cars will be removed from inside the city are directly linked to driverless car. I mean, there are too much car in the cities, and they will have to be removed. But to tell you what I really think about driverless cars, and car manufacturer, there will be a lot of change. For me, it looks like 20 years ago, you would buy a computer at a very high price, and computer manufacturer at value, which is no more the case. I mean, now that's software services. Even Apple is more a service company than a hardware company that has value. And I really think that something similar will happen with car manufacturers. It means that the vehicle will have less importance than it has today. You will find on the market a component to build a car. There is a US company now with doing a crowd design for cars and then printing the car and buying pieces, elements of the car from on the market, like car manufacturers are doing. So I think this will change. Again, it's not so much linked with driverless or not. It's linked to the service, transportation service. And inside the city, at least, driverless car will be needed because there are too much space reserved to cars, and there will be more and more people in cities.
What would be the price of buying a driverless car, like a final model, like in around 10 years?
I cannot really answer this question. The vehicle we are designing are not to be owned by private people. They are shared vehicles. And I really think most of the cars will be shared in the future. So you will buy services, which is time or distance, but you will not buy a car. Look, you're not buying your software now. You are paying a monthly fee to get the software. That will be the same with a car.
In a way, it'd be like a taxi service, something similar.
Similar to a taxi service, but within 10 years, I really see it similar to Amazon Unlimited book reading, or how you use a software office system, which is £10 per month. It will be mostly similar to that, I think.
Thank you, Pierre, and back to the studio.